Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our daily morning reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. And thank you all for joining. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I beg for blessings and permission from Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara and my Guru Maharaj so I can speak a few words in the glorification of Krishna and his devotees for my own purification. And I also seek blessings from all of you Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Please forgive me if I make any offenses in the course of this class today. So we are reading from Canto 1, chapter 19, titled The Appearance of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. And we all know the background setting of this chapter. It describes the events leading up to Maharaj Parikshit's departure from the world. So after being cursed to die within 7 days by Sonak Rishi's son Shringi, Parikshit Maharaj accepts the curse as the Lord's mercy. He leaves his kingdom and he goes to the bank of Gangaji. And so he can fast till death and hear Krishna Katha. And we have read more than half of this chapter already. And in the first half, we have seen that upon hearing about Parikshit Maharaj's vow to fast until death, so many great sages, rishis, rajarshis all over the world, they assemble there. And Parikshit Maharaj welcomes all the sages with humility. He offers them due respect. And despite being cursed, he considers this as a blessing because it allows him to prepare for his death properly. And Parikshit Maharaj, he is showing an example for all of us of the ideal behavior of a devotee at the time of death. Renunciation, humility, eagerness to learn, eagerness to hear and chant about the Lord. And then we saw the question that Parikshit Maharaj asks the sages in the verse 24. So he asks that what is the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and especially those who are just about to die. So this critical question of Parikshit Maharaj, it was the catalyst for the whole Srimad Bhagavatam's recitation by Śukadeva Gosvāmī. So this simple question about his duty, it sets the stage for entire Srimad Bhagavatam because it opens the doors for the pure and uninterrupted glorification of Krishna and his devotees. So as we saw, the sages praise this question of Parikshit Maharaj. They say that only very fortunate people such as Parikshit Maharaj can renounce everything and focus on Krishna at the time of death. And then from verse 25, we saw that Tatra Bhavad Bhagavan Vyasaputro, son of Vyasadev, Bhagavan Vyasaputra. His name has not been revealed yet. So he arrives. And he is then in these 4 verses, his bodily features they are described. His bodily features that set him apart from common men. His abha resembles that of Krishna himself. He is blackish. He is Digambar. He is not wearing anything. He has curly hair, broad chest, deep navel, and much more. And then there was an interesting word in our yesterday's verse 28. Lakshanagna. So the sages who were present there, they were Lakshanagna. So Prabhupada translates it as an expert in the art of physiognomy. So it means that they had the ability to recognize a person's character, person's destiny, their future, simply by observing their physical features, their bodily features, and some symbols. So, in short, the sages could recognize that he is no ordinary person, and they all honored him by rising from their seats. So, that's where we are. And now we will see in today's verse who else offers respect to Śukadeva Gosvāmī, son of Vyasadeva, Vyasaputra, Bhagwan Vyasaputra, who has just arrived there in that assembly? Who else offers him respect? And what happens after the initial welcome? Okay, so let's go to verse 29, 119, 29. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sa Vishnurato Agataya Tasmai Saparyam Shirasa Jahara Tato Nivritta Buddhastriyorbhaka Mahasaneshopa Vivesha Pujitaha. Let's look at word to word. Saha, he, Vishnu Rataha, Maharaj Parikshit, who is always protected by Lord Vishnu. So we know how Parikshit Maharaj was miraculously protected by Krishna even while he was still in the womb. When the powerful Brahmastra of Ashwatthama threatened his life. So at that critical moment, Lord Krishna personally entered the womb and shielded him. So he was physically protected by Krishna. And throughout his life, Parikshit Maharaj showed the qualities of a Rajarshi, a saintly king. He upheld dharma. So in that way, he was materially also protected by Krishna. And when he was cursed to die within 7 days, he did not lament or retaliate, but he rather took it as an opportunity to perfect his life by hearing about Krishna. And this is also nothing but a great mercy of Krishna that Parikshit Maharaj so easily renounced everything, and he was spiritually also protected, eternally protected. So Vishnu Rataha, always protected by Lord Vishnu, Parikshit Maharaj. Next, Atithaya, to become a guest. Agataya, one who arrives there. Tasmai, unto him. Saparyam, with the whole body. Shirasa, with bowed head. Ajhara, offered obeisances. So the first two lines, Sa Vishnu Rato Tithaya Agataya Tasmai Saparyam Shirasa Jahara, mean that he, Vishnu Rat, Maharaj Parikshit, who is always protected by Vishnu, he offered respects. How? Saparyam, with the whole body. Shirasa, with bowed head. Ajhara, he offered obeisances. And to whom did he pay the respects? Atithaya agataya, unto the guest who has just arrived. So we saw in the previous verses that Bhagavan Vyasaputra, his name hasn't been revealed yet, that is the guest who has arrived. So Vishnurat Parikshit Maharaj paid respect to him. And then next words, Tataha, thereafter, Nivrutta, ceased, he certainly, Abudhaha, less intelligent, Striyaha, women, Arbhakaha, boys. So the third line, Tato Nivrutta Budhaha Striyorbhaka, it means that the ignorant, less intelligent, that's the word Prabhupada has used, less intelligent women and children stopped following him, whom? To the guest, Śukadeva Goswami. So, were they following him till now? And why? Because he is a 16-year-old, extraordinary handsome, naked renunciant, moving freely and fearlessly through their towns and their villages. So firstly, they were simply curious. And also there was the spontaneous attraction, because this mysterious young man was radiating spiritual brilliance. He seemed like someone beyond this world. In one of the verses, it is said, his Abha was same as Lord Krishna. So when someone like that is walking through their village or their town, they were following him more out of attraction and novelty. And then what happens? So he arrives there, and next word, Maha Asane, exalted seat. Sir, he, Upa Vivesha, sat down, Pujitaha, being respected. So the fourth line, Maha Asane, Sopa Vivesha Pujitaha, he having been honored, sat on the Maha Asan, the exalted seat. So let's read the translation now. Translation by Krishna Krupamurti, His loving divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj Parikshit, who is also known as Vishnu Rath, one who is always protected by Vishnu, bowed his head to receive the chief guest, Śukadeva Goswami. At that time, all the ignorant women and boys ceased following Srila Śukadeva. Receiving respect from all, Śukadeva Goswami took his exalted seat. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. On Śukadeva Goswami's arrival at the meeting, everyone except Srila Vyasadeva, Narada, and a few others stood up, and Maharaja Parikshit, who was glad to receive a great devotee of the Lord, bowed down before him with all the limbs of his body. Śukadeva Goswami also exchanged the greetings and reception by embrace, shaking of hands, nodding and bowing down, especially before his father and Narad Muni. Thus he was offered the presidential seat at the meeting. When he was so received by the king and sages, the street boys and less intelligent women who followed him were struck by wonder and fear. So they retired from their frivolous activities, and everything was full of gravity and calm. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Does anyone have any questions till now? So, in this purport, when we read, and in the words as well, the word abudha, that Striya and Arbaka, the children, they were abudha, less intelligent. So, when we hear words like that, in our verse, Vyasadeva is calling them abudha, And in the purport and the translation also, it is said less intelligent women. So many of us being in women body, we might find it offending. And this is a touchy subject. So why is Vyasadeva, who is none other than Krishna himself, right? Vyasadeva is Krishna's literary incarnation. Then why is he discriminatory towards women? And there is also many other verses. One I can remember, we have already seen it in the 4th chapter, 1:4:25, where it is said that Stri Shudra Dvij Bandhunam Trai Na Shruti Gochara. So it says that these three classes, women, Shudras, and friends of twice born, they are na Shruti Gochara. They are not allowed to hear Shrutis, Vedas. So why in today's time, in the time of equality, it is very disheartening to read this, and it may feel regressive mentality to some. But this is often misunderstood. So we will try to clear that misunderstanding today. So when Shastras say this, it simply means that in Vedic system of Varna, it was according to one's activities, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. And according to a child tendencies, based on their guna, their qualities, it was decided which Varna they belong. So if they had Brahminical qualities, they were given education accordingly. If they had Kshatriya qualities, they were given education accordingly. And not like today's education, equal, same education for everyone. A fish and the tiger goes to the same school to learn how to fly. Vedic education was need-based, what you need to know based on the prescribed duties of your varna. So that is what you will be taught. So because Vedic society was well aware of the life's ultimate goal, savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje, and the prescribed duties and one's bodily dharma was mean to progress towards one's soul's dharma. So naturally, when the scriptures say Trai na Shruti Gochara, so study of Shrutis, the formal study of Vedas, it was not required or expected from those whose duties were household based or services based or skill based. So while some scriptural references may sound hierarchical, their intent is not to belittle us, but it is to describe the different capacities or different roles people traditionally had in the ancient Vedic culture. We often come across these words or quotes in Bhagavatam or from Srila Prabhupada that describe women as less intelligent or subordinate to their husband. Women should follow instructions of their father, their brothers, their husbands. We often hear like this. And these statements, at first, on the surface, they can seem disturbing, offensive, when we see through a modern and Western cultural lens. In today's time, we see that women are good at studies, they are sincere in their work, their office work, they cook delicious meals, they look after the house, look after the children, they do it all. But if we look deeper, with context and with a sincere desire to understand, we can see a very clear and compassionate picture also. Mahatma Prabhu, he gives an excellent example. He says, imagine I need a dentist to fix a cavity, but all the qualified dentists I'm finding on Google in my area, they are all women. Now, if I think that, what does a dentist do? Use a drill to fix my cavity. So if I then choose to go to a carpenter, just because he is a man and he also uses a drill, obviously that's bizarre. The dentist is trained and qualified. So that gender has nothing to do with her ability to help me. So, in fact, average IQ for women and average IQ for men, they are identical. So, there is a flaw in assuming that every man is automatically more intelligent than every woman. We know from real life that it is not true. In Srila Prabhupada's time, a reporter once asked Srila Prabhupada that you say sometimes that women are less intelligent. So, what do you mean by that? And Prabhupada said that sometimes they are, but when they come to Krishna consciousness, they are the most intelligent. So, a devotee woman is more intelligent than a non-devotee man. So, as far as Srila Prabhupada is concerned, did he empower women to preach, give classes, manage temples? Yes. Did he allow women to receive Brahminical initiation? Yes. Whether a woman stays at home or goes out to work or preach, Sri Prabhupada said it depends on her nature, circumstances, and what helps her best to serve Krishna. And spiritually saying, we would be getting offended by women are less intelligent if we think we are women. But what has Srila Prabhupada taught us? The ABC of spiritual life, that we are not this body, we are soul. So if we are on bodily platform, then it would affect us, otherwise not. And in Vedic theology, especially Vaishnava Siddhant, Krishna is the only true Purush, the ultimate enjoyer, controller, and the supreme male. And all other jivas, all of us, whether they are in male body or in female body, they are all Prakriti, the enjoyed, the servant. And we are all less intelligent than Krishna. On that, we can all agree. There's a beautiful pastime, a very instructive pastime in 10th Canto. So one day, Krishna and Balram, they were playing in the forest. And along with all the cowherd boys, they were playing in forest. So they all became hungry. So Krishna told the cowherd boys to go approach a group of brahmanas who they could see nearby, who were doing a fire sacrifice, and Krishna asked them tell them that Krishna has asked for food. So the cowherd boys, they exactly did that, but the brahmanas, they were so absorbed in their rituals and mantras, they ignored these cowherd boys completely. And they did not recognize that the Supreme Lord, who is the ultimate enjoyer of the sacrifices, of the very sacrifices they are trying to perform, he has given himself an opportunity to serve him. So then the boys go back to Krishna, and then Krishna tells them, okay, go to the wives of these Brahmanas instead. So that's a very beautiful verse in 10th Canto, 10, 23, 14. So Krishna says that tell the wives of Brahmanas that I have come here with Lord Sankarshan. So, and if you just tell them, they will certainly give you all the food you want because they are very affectionate towards me. And indeed, Krishna uses a very nice word. He says that they reside within me only with their intelligence. So and exactly that happened when Brahman Patnis heard that Krishna was nearby asking for food. Their hearts melted with devotion, seeing that opportunity to serve him. So, without hesitation, they gathered all the preparations they had prepared to help their husbands for the fire sacrifice. And they ran with all these preparations to offer them personally to Krishna and Balram and all the cowherd boys. Even though that meant that they are disobeying their husband's instructions, their family norms, the social norms. So we can see that both Lord Krishna and his pure devotee Srila Prabhupada, they have trust in intelligence of women when it comes to devotional service. So Prabhupada always glorified these women, saying that their behavior proved that women can achieve the highest perfection of life. And what is that? Devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada said they can always achieve the highest perfection of life simply by loving and serving Krishna. They didn't need to know all the Vedas because their bhakti surpassed their husband's scholarship in the case of these Brahman Patnis. So, there is a famous quote of Prabhupada where he says that Krishna consciousness is not dependent on being a man or a woman, scholar or non-scholar. It depends on sincere devotional service only. So when scripture sounds harsh, we should always interpret them with the understanding that the sadhus, Vyasadeva, who has written the scriptures, Srila Prabhupada, they are devotees of Krishna, so they are compassionate, they are not biased. So Prabhupada was not sexist or racist. He was a pure devotee. He was seeing everyone as a soul and not a body. His heart was full of compassion for all the jivas, all the living beings. So these cultural statements that sound harsh today, if we think of their context, they may have been intended to protect or elevate the vulnerable groups in some different time. In Vedic times, men were getting Vedic education and women didn't get formal education. But in today's time, men and women both are getting the material education only. And no one is getting spiritual education except for those who are in movements like our movement. And another thing is that we shouldn't take the words out of context. The cultural setting, the audience, and the tone also matters. So yes, some scriptural references, they may sound hierarchical, but their intent is not to belittle anyone, but it is to describe, as we say, different roles and different capacities. So the spiritual conclusion is that anyone, regardless of their gender, their caste, or their background, anyone who is engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord, who chants the holy name and surrenders to Krishna, is most intelligent. So ultimately, devotional service, bhakti, is for everyone, men, woman, child, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, animal, Gajendra, hunter, Mrugari, Vidurji, he is Shudra. So scholar, learned, not learned, none of these labels matter. They are all equal in the eyes of Krishna. And the only real intelligence is to serve him with love. And another point our purport makes that even though Śukadeva Gosvāmī was younger than a lot of sages present there, he was offered the Mahāsana. Mahasane Sopa Vishesha Pujita. So he was chosen as the chief guest and the chief speaker. So this shows the spiritual humility of all the sages that were present there. Vyasadeva, his father, Narad Muni, Devarshi Narad, and all other sages. So it was their spiritual humility to choose Śukadeva Gosvāmī as the chief guest. And the other speakers over the week, they have already elaborated on that point. So we will not repeat it again today, and we'll move on to the next verse. That's also nice and small purport, so hope we can cover it. Let's go to verse 30. Sasamvrutastra mahan mahiyasam brahmarshi rajarshi devarshi sangai vyarocatalam bhagavan yathendur grahar kshatara nikarai paritai. Word to word. Saha, Sri Śukadeva Gosvāmī, Samvrutaha, surrounded by, Tatra, there, Mahan, great, Mahiyasam, of the greatest, Brahmarshi, saint among the Brahmanas, Rajarshi, saint among the kings, Devarshi, saint among the demigods. Sanghaihi, by the assembly of. Virochita, well deserved, shone brightly. Alam, able, capable. Bhagwan, powerful. Yatha, as. Induhu, the moon. Graha, planets. Raksha, heavenly bodies. Tara, stars. Nikaraihi, by the assembly of. Paritaha, surrounded by. Translation by Krishna Krupamurti, His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Śukadeva Goswami was then surrounded by saintly sages and demigods, just as the moon is surrounded by stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies. His presence was gorgeous and he was respected by all. Would anyone like to read this purport, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can do it.
Yes, please.
In the great assembly of saintly personalities, there was Vyasadeva, the Brahmarshi, Narada, Devarshi, Parashurama, the great ruler of Kshatriya kings, etc. Some of them were powerful incarnations of the Lord. Śukadeva Goswami was not known as Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, or Devarshi, nor was he an incarnation like Narada, Vyasa, or Parashurama, and yet he excelled them in respects paid. This means that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. One should therefore never minimize the importance of a devotee like Śukadeva Goswami. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, the sages that had gathered, they were not any ordinary beings. Among them, there was Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of the Lord, who compiled the Vedas and who authored all the scriptures, Mahabharata, Puranas, and the one who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was the one from whom Śukadeva Goswami had heard Srimad Bhagavatam, and now Vyasadeva was ready to sit in the audience and hear Srimad Bhagavatam from his own son and disciple Śukadeva Goswami. There was Narad Muni, the Devarshi, celestial sage who was empowered to travel freely across the universes and inspire bhakti in whoever he wants, in wherever he goes. There was Parshuram, a Shaktiavesh avatar, a powerful incarnation of Lord Vishnu who got rid of the corrupt Kshatriyas 21 times from the earth. Earlier, I think in the last chapter, we saw the whole list of all the great sages. There was quite a long purport there as well. So we saw the list of all these sages, the towering figures who are empowered with divine potencies and cosmic roles, demigods. They have supernatural powers. So they all are present in that assembly. Devarshi, Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, Devarshi, Sangahe. In that assembly, they all are there. And then walks in Śukadeva Goswami, naked, 16 years old, no formal title like Brahmarshi or Devarshi, or not known to have written any books, no kingdom, no disciples. He is not even, in one of the verses, it doesn't even show that he belongs to any ashram. So he is not a householder. He doesn't even have any social status. But they all are happy that he becomes he sits on the Mahasana, he becomes the chief guest. Because as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.128, he says that Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Naya Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Sei Guru Haya. So whether one is Vipra, Brahman, Kibanyasi, whether one is Sannyasi or a Shudra or even a woman, if they know the science of Krishna, they are fit to be a guru. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he throws away all the bodily distinctions out the window and he declares that Krishna consciousness is the real measure of intelligence and qualification. So even though Śukadeva Goswami is the youngest there, the entire assembly of divine sages, including the avatar like Parashuram, Vyasadeva, including all the avatars and all the Jnanis, they all rose to honor him and offer him Mahasan. And even his father Vyasadeva, the author of Bhagavatam, honored him as the best person to speak Bhagavatam. The person who has written Bhagavatam is appointing someone else to speak him. Why? Not because he is his son, but because he was the purest devotee present. So, there is a beautiful verse in 11th Canto, 11 to 55. It says, Pranaya Rasanaya Ghrutangri Padma Sabhavati Bhagavat Pradhan Ukta. When a devotee takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet and chants his holy name with real love, then the Supreme Lord never leaves that devotee's heart. So such a person who has captured Krishna in their heart through their love is called Bhagavat Pradhan. It means that topmost or most exalted devotee of the Lord. So true devotional service, it results in realization of the Lord. So Lord resides in the heart. They have the realization of the Lord, and it automatically brings detachment from everything else. So Sukadeva Goswami had no attachment to anything material, not even to clothes, because he was fully attached to Krishna alone, and that's the real standard of honor. Srila Prabhupada writes in our purport that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. So even Lord himself, he says in Bhagavad Gita 12.20 that those who follow this path of devotion, they are very dear to me. So Krishna himself honors his devotees. Then how can we, conditioned souls, we can ever minimize them? So this statement that Srila Prabhupada has made in the purport, that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. And we have all heard Amrish Maharaj's pastime again and again. So this statement Prabhupada has made is also a warning that one should not, we should never minimize the importance of a devotee. So minimizing a devotee is an offense, Vaishnava Aparadha, and such offenses, they block our own spiritual progress. And how will we know which devotee is pure devotee and which devotee is not a pure devotee? Do we have any pure devotee meter? No. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches Trinadapi Shunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. The safest way for all of us is that to respect all devotees. Be a manina manadena, one who does not expect respect, but always prepared to give respect to all other devotees, all other people. They can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. But in contrast, serving a devotee, hearing from them, glorifying them, encouraging them, all these the way respecting a devotee, it attracts their mercy, it attracts Krishna's mercy, and the mercy waters our own bhakti lata, and it helps it grow faster than anything else. So on that note, we will conclude our class here. If anyone wants to share something, some realization, or have any questions or comments, please feel free to open your mics and share. All right. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a blissful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.